Hello and welcome back to Kick Butt Turbo Nerds. I'm your best friend, Camden Nikolai.
And I'm your other best friend, Neil Califf.
And we're here to kick butts and be nerds, and we're all out of butts, so let's get started.
Let's get started.
It's episode 6.
Episode 6?
6.
Episode 6.
If our podcast was a child, they would be going into kindergarten.
Okay, but we did that bit already once before, so I...
Did we?
Didn't we do a bit where we were about our podcast child growing up? Could have sworn we did. We've only done 6 episodes. I feel like we should be able to remember that, but I'm pretty sure we did.
Don't ask me about remembering things.
Okay, no more. From now on, no more of that bit.
No more of our podcast as a human child?
Yeah. That one.
Got it. How was your week? How's your week been?
My week was good. I had 2 exams and a bunch of projects that I had to do, but one of my projects got pushed back a week, so that was nice.
Hey, that's always nice.
That's always nice. There was not very much eventful this week, though, I gotta say. What about you? I
had a pretty okay week. I said in the last episode I was going to a Greta Van Fleet concert.
Yeah.
Since then, both of them have been canceled due to the lead singer having pneumonia or some shit. I don't know.
It's really sad.
Sad time. So now I'm just chilling at home. But I did get to see both of my nieces and my nephew yesterday.
Aw.
And Robbie, who's my almost 5-year-old nephew, goes up to my mom yesterday and is just fully flipping her off, like right in her face, like hand almost pressing her face. And she's like, "Can I help you?" And he just goes, "I scratched my finger." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Like, but like out of context, like imagine Robbie and imagine a small little sensitive guy just coming up right in your face. My mom going, "Can I help you?" Which is like the only way you can react to a 4-year-old flipping you off so intentionally.
But
like
he wasn't. He didn't know what he was doing.
No,
but
he had no clue. But he was so confident in his positioning of his hand. He had no idea that it was bad, and it's just very good.
It's pretty good.
I scratched my finger. Okay, bud. I don't know what you want to say to that. He does not believe that kisses help his boo-boos. He says, man, "Why would you kiss my boo-boo? It doesn't even do anything." Now I'm like, damn, I thought they did. I thought my kisses were a little special. Pardon me.
Nah, he's growing up. He doesn't believe that stuff anymore. He's a realist, Camden.
Yeah, well,
he's gotten with the times.
He hasn't believed in it since he was like 2. Like he was so young when he was like, that doesn't do anything.
What about Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, etc.?
Those are all still very real.
Those are real, but kissing boo-boos does nothing.
Is fake.
I see.
And that is not. You're not a doctor. But Santa Claus does come down a chimney. The Easter Bunny does lay eggs. Tooth Fairy takes my teeth. Give me a quarter afterwards.
Wait. As someone who is Jewish and does not know a single thing about Easter, Santa, I know a lot of the lore. Does the Easter Bunny lay the eggs?
I can't answer that. Because
I mean, that's what you literally just said.
Yeah, but like, I think it might be like a joke. But I can't honestly say. I honestly don't know the lore behind the Easter Bunny. Easter is the day that Jesus comes back from the dead.
Correct. After
he's killed. And he's in the tomb with the big thing on the top of it, whatever, for 3 days. And then he's resurrected. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm a person again."
That much I know.
Yeah. You get it. And there's no bunny in the story. No egg is in there.
Where does the Easter Bunny come from?
I don't know. Can you look it up on Google.com?
I'm gonna look it up on Google. You know what? I'm gonna use Bing. Here's what we're gonna do.
You fucking class traitor.
We're gonna do an experiment. You look it up on Google. I'll look it up on Bing.
All right.
I did just type in bong.com, which is not where I meant to go. Let's try
Can you
Bing.
tell me where that goes, though?
I exited out before I let it go. Let's try it again.
Where does the Easter Bunny live?
Bong.com. Yeah,
Oh.
I saw that. I don't know where he lives.
Okay.
Bong.com.
Bong.com.
From the forest to you since 1737. Bong issues notes of SEK 110 million. It's just like
That's not fun.
quarterly reports, and I
That's
think
not
they're like
fun.
They're an envelope and packaging company. Bong.com.
That is so sad. That's also really funny, though, that they're just like, we know what you looked this up for.
Okay, wait. I looked up on Microsoft Bing, where does the Easter Bunny come from? And it's just, I gotta just send you a screenshot. Because
Alright.
in just massive letters at the top of the screen, all it says is just German! According to two sources. German. And then it's a picture of the Easter Bunny.
Picture of the
It's
Easter Bunny.
a guy in an Easter Bunny
So
costume
scared.
just lounging, reclining on a park bench.
See, mine is really nice. Mine's really nice.
And then also on the
Mine's
side,
nice.
wait, you got a bunch of pictures of bunnies and Easter eggs, and it's like the Easter Bunny is a Germanic legendary creature, and then underneath it says played by Jay Thomas and Jim Brewer. I don't know who either of these people are, but they both played the Easter Bunny, I guess.
Okay, what does the Easter Bunny have to do with Jesus? They were incorporated into the celebration of Easter separately from the Christian tradition of honoring the day Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ rose from the dead. So, the bunny isn't Jesus? Wait, no,
I
that's
don't think the bunny was ever Jesus.
No, that wasn't what I meant to say. I meant to say, like, he has nothing to do with the guy. Oh, pagan tradition. Cool, just like every other Christian holiday. Oh my god. Goddess of fertility whose animal symbol was a bunny. Cool.
What does the Easter Bunny have to do with Jesus? In the end, the
Everyone
Easter Bunny has
bone
nothing to do
on
with
Easter.
Jesus.
Everyone bone on Easter is what this one's
I'm
saying.
sorry. I'm the one on
April
Bing.
2nd is... I'm the one on Google.com, and Google.com
Google's
says
telling
right
you to
here...
bone down?
It's saying to bone down on Easter Sunday.
In those words?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Who owns Google?
Who owns Google?
Yeah, can you look it up on Bing?
Hey Bing, who owns Google? Bing says Alphabet Inc. I don't
Alphabet
know.
Inc.
Okay,
You
people
wild.
also ask. Oh wait, no.
What?
That's sorry. I looked that up on Google by accident. I have to go back to Bing.
Fuck.
Who owns Google? Alphabet Inc. Also, I like how the stock market abbreviation for Google is just
It's
Google without an E at the end.
Google. Yeah.
Google.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got to boning down on Easter Sunday and Google from.
Google.
I don't
What were
know
we
how
talking
we got
about?
here. But.
Oh,
this is
Santa
kicked by
Claus,
Turbo.
Easter Bunny.
Yes, right. Yeah. No, those are real.
Those are real.
I think leprechauns are still might be real too.
Fairies?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay.
He's also really big in Animal Crossing right now.
They're leprechauns in
so-
Animal Crossing?
No, I was just telling you a fun anecdote.
Oh.
Separate from him being 4 and believing in those things. He was telling me about Wisp, who is like this ghost that comes to your island and you have to help him find all of his like little spirit orbs, whatever. And he's like really intense about it. He's like in my face. He's like, Camden, have you seen the ghost that is at your island? And I was like, one, we weren't talking about Animal Crossing at the time, so I was like, pardon? And he was like, his name is Wisp, I think, and he needs his friends to go back to his house. And I was like, okay, what? And he's like, yeah, you have to collect his little ghost friends, and they go back with him, and then they go home. And I was like, I don't think that's how it works, and I don't think that's the lore, but you know, I like your story. And I'd like more of it, please.
I like hearing you tell things in his voice. That's fun for me.
Yeah. Just imagine my 4-year-old nephew sounds
He's
like...
so cute.
He is. He's the cutest little guy. He's so sensitive and sweet. And he loves like little creatures and bugs. Like, so much. He and I will just talk to him about reptiles and he's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. I have a video of Misty explaining how clouds worked, like how rain worked, to him, and he was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, he's so enamored just by, like, science, and it's the cutest. It's the best. What a sweetie. He's crazy. They're all crazy, though. I love them. Anyways, this is Kick Butt Turbo Nerds.
This is Kick Butt Turbo Nerds.
We talk about things that we like.
We
do. And also, my nephew sometimes, apparently. But it's your turn first.
It's my turn.
Pal. Because I went first.
You know what? I can use that as a segue. Why not?
Oh.
Robbie liking science. Here's what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, shit.
He's
doing a segue.
I'm doing a segue.
He's doing a segue.
I kind of not warned. What's the word I'm looking for? Prepared you for this a little bit.
You told me what you were doing.
I told you a little bit what I'm going to do. But I want to talk specifically about Vsauce.
Let's go.
Because I mentioned him we've mentioned him a couple times.
We've mentioned him like 5 times.
Quite a few times.
Once per episode.
And I talk about him in real life all the time, and I'm convinced. I mean, yeah, but I'm convinced that a lot of people I know don't know who he is. I know Akiva knows who he is. Yeah. I'm pretty sure my siblings do, I think, but I don't think they've ever watched him. I don't think my parents have any idea who he is.
No, but your dad, I think, would enjoy Michael from Vsauce very much.
Probably. He one of the biggest regrets of my life is that I never went to see him when he was touring with Adam Savage. They had a live show together, the two of them. And
I know. I think about it a lot.
All the time.
Because when I was a kid, when I first found Vsauce, I was like 11 or 12. I had the biggest crush on Michael Vsauce.
His name is,
smart.
Real quick, Vsauce is the name of a YouTube
Stevens.
channel run by a guy named Michael Stevens. It's more than just a channel. There's multiple channels, and they're they're like a business conglomerate. That's a bad way of putting it. They have a really cool like subscription box that they do called the Curiosity Box, and they send out like cool science stuff. But it's like an educational
very
channel.
Cool. Yeah, exactly, and it's done in a way that it doesn't dumb things down, but it also doesn't make you feel dumb if you don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Really cool, interesting stuff. It's actually like one of the first things I think we talked about when we first became friends, that we were like, oh, cool, we have more than just liking cats in common, sick. Like,
and being in theater class together.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, oh, wait, we actually have a lot of deeper common interests. Because Michael from Vsauce is just as deep as you can get.
What a guy.
What a guy.
He's so the thing about this channel, so it's an educational channel, right? So you have videos. Like, I've pulled a couple specific videos I want to talk about. I pulled a couple just, like, titles that I want to mention. And I, again, highly, highly encourage everybody who's listening to just fall down a rabbit hole of his content. Because he's got YouTube Shorts now. He did a lot of those during COVID.
Yes. Yes.
For just, like, an easy jumping in point for super short, like, 10-second videos. He's got 10-minute videos. And then he's got, like, some really long, 30-minute videos. But the thing about...
there's that whole video of him just reading all of the prime numbers until it's like 9 hours long.
He did... Actually, how long was that?
It's really long. I listened to it to help me fall asleep like 2 months ago.
It's 3 hours. Michael says prime
dreams.
Numbers for 3 hours. That's the name of the video. It's wild.
I love that man.
He's so goofy. He's a goofy dude.
Like, so funny.
He's really funny, and he's so smart.
Yes. And the fact that he's just, like, casually friends with Adam Savage also. Yeah. Like, he's just like,
that's
another
man that I just absolutely adore.
That I would pay good money to just, like, sit down and have a conversation with him. Because, like, of so many influences of my life, Mythbusters was, like, one of the first ones that I was like, okay, I think I really like science. Like, I think that is something that I'm going to pursue with my life, and now it is something that I do every day.
I mean, same. That's,
exactly.
Watching them, like, I'm not going to say they're the reason that I'm in school for engineering, but seeing the things that Adam and Jamie do, and, like, just the wide range of things that their knowledge enables them to do. I mean, you think just the intro to the show where they talk about the special effects experience they have working on Star Wars and whatever. Like, the science that they do and the way that
Just
they're able to
to
have fun with the
prove-
science that they do.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it's to prove, like, it's to prove wrong myths, obviously, or it's just like stupid stuff like that. You're like, nobody has ever thought to test this before,
Right.
and these incredibly intelligent people are about to do it, and it's wonderful, and it's the best. Anyways,
it's the best. So
Michael Vsauce.
Michael from Vsauce is very good friends with Adam Savage. They did, I think when they were touring, they did a couple videos together. One of the videos that I wanted to talk about, they did together. The video is called The Brachistochrone, which is basically, I'm not going to go through, everything in the video, but it's, this one is a little more scientific, but basically, the Brachistochrone is the name of a shape. It's the name of a curve that is very specific. It's the curve you get when you basically take a point on a circle and trace it as you roll that circle along a straight line. Mm-hmm. It's what it is doesn't really matter, but the significance of this shape is that it's essentially what this shape is quote unquote the fastest way from point A to point B, because everyone says the fastest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line, but that's not true. Basically, the experiment is if you have point A that's elevated and point B that's down on the ground, the quickest way is not letting a ball roll down a ramp or like a really steep curve so that it picks up speed. It's this one very, very specific curve that will always get you to point B the fastest. And the other super cool thing about this curve, it's got another name called the tautochrone curve, which basically is another name for it that refers to the fact that no matter where on this curve you release a ball, it will always reach the end of the curve in the same amount of time. The mathematics behind the height to the curve, the acceleration of the ball, no matter where on this curve you drop the ball from, it will always reach the end at the same time. So, first of all, I loved this concept. I just thought the math behind it was cool. But
it's also just something nobody ever thinks about.
Right. The fact
that
very
of course there's math behind it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And so what happens in this video is Adam and Michael take a little field trip to Adam's shop, and they build one. They sketch it out, they do the math, and they build one of these curves, and next to it they build like a super steep curve and a straight line, and they do some tests where they release 3 balls at once, and they see which one gets to the bottom the fastest. And of course, it's always the one on this special curve. And it was super cool. I was inspired by this video, and I built my own experiment of 3 curves out of just like cardboard and stuff.
How old
I tested
were
it
you?
myself. I was in high school. It was not that
Was it
long
before
ago.
we met?
I don't remember. I could have sworn I told you about it. It might have been.
Anything that you do about science, though, I'm like, oh, that's my guy. Look at him go. Like, you could have told me you did something yesterday, and I've been like, yeah, Neil, go.
I mean, I would if I had just found out about this today, I probably also would have done it.
Yeah.
But this video was one of the really cool like mathematical ones. But the thing about Vsauce that I really want to stress is that his videos aren't just math. I call him an educational channel, but it's so much more than that. You have videos like, the one that I'm sure you know of because it's got 37 million views. It's one of his most famous videos. It's called the Banach-Tarski Paradox.
Yes,
which
I do
is
know that one.
So hard to follow, even though he dumbs it down so much. And it's this mathematical, paradoxical thing about taking a sphere and shifting every point on the sphere so that you can clone the sphere into an identical sphere.
I was going to talk about that because I didn't know you were going to talk about it today. I was going to talk about it just now. That is one of my favorite videos of his of all time to show to people and be like, this is the kind of thing that he just talks about for fun. Yeah. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I think I was watching it with my mom sometime last year, sometime very recently. And she was just taken aback, fully enraptured by the concept of it. And I just love seeing how him educating people like ripples out. It's so great.
Because he's able to really make everything he talks about accessible. He has a video where he basically, you wouldn't know this going in until you watch the entire video and realize that you're just learning calculus, which I remember he dropped this video and it was just about like, here's some cool, interesting math tricks that are like, wow, look at this interesting thing that happens when you do this other interesting thing. You get to the end of the video and he invented calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
wonderful.
I went off on a tangent again. Not every video is scientific or mathematical.
No.
He has, and you know, he's got videos on linguistics. One of my favorite videos is just called Dord, D-O-R-D period. And he talks, it starts with how there was a mistake in the 1934 Webster's Dictionary where they submitted, you know, an entry that was supposed to be D or D, abbreviation for density, but ended up coming out as just Dord. And it was 13 years until people realized that Dord was not a real word. So he's got videos about linguistics. But the meat and potatoes, what Vsauce is known for is his philosophy, basically.
Yeah.
Every one of his videos, even the ones where he accidentally invents calculus, every one of them just ends up going so far beyond the original concept of the video, and he ends up talking about the future and about the way that society is changing, and he talks about legacy and how to leave your impact on the universe, and all of this will come out of a video that's just starts talking about how guinea pigs aren't actually from Guinea or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's incredible. He has a video, one of the ones that I watched just to prepare for this. The video is called "Is Anything Real?" And this video is, you know, you might know this video from the memes because the first line of this video is, "Where are your fingers?"
Yeah.
Which became a pretty big meme. Hey, Vsauce Michael here. Where are your fingers?
Where are your fingers?
And you know, it sounds goofy. He says, like, it's an easy question. My fingers are right here. But how do you know? How do you know anything? You might say, I'm looking at them, I can touch things, I can feel them, and your senses are a great way to feel things, but how do you know that everything your senses tell you is true, and what does it mean to actually know things? And when you know things, where do you know things? Where is that information stored? How much information can you store? And he just goes crazy with all these tiny little questions you'd never think about. He's got videos, he's got a video called, or if it's, I can't remember the exact title, but it's like, where do deleted videos go?
Yeah.
When you delete something, where does it go? And you might think, you know, it disappears, it's gone forever, but it's never that simple. And by the end of it, you're always questioning your existence. It's great.
Yeah. I think, what was it? It was the video that he does on the golden record.
Yes.
Is like one of my favorite videos to just rewatch at any time. Mostly because I have always loved the concept of just the human need to communicate, which is something that I spend a lot of my life researching and appreciating. And it's just so cool how we try to communicate us to beings we can't even comprehend. And his video about it is not only just like informative and interesting, but it's also like really poetic. It
is. Messages for the Future is the name of the video.
Yes. And also he has like an entire YouTube originals series that he's made free.
Yes,
and
so
accessible.
I was getting there.
Yes. I didn't know. I am not trying to step on your toes or anything.
No,
it's just
you're not.
A topic that we both immensely love. But I have watched all of, what is it, Minefield?
Minefield. M-I-N-D. Minefield.
Yeah. And I talked about it in our episode with Rose, about his cognitive trade-off episode.
Right. Incredible show. That show goes crazy. He did experiments where he would lock himself in isolation for days at a time or however long it was. He did an episode where he did the trolley problem in real life and the ethical concerns of it and like what it means to actually perform that experiment in real life and the outcome of it. And it's just crazy to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Mind freak.
Mind freak, not that one. That's a different one.
No, there is a show on like Discovery or something called Brain Games.
I remember Brain Games.
It reminds me of that.
A bit, yeah. I don't think I watched much of it. I think we maybe watched some in school.
Bald.
He is bald. Sometimes he has a really big beard. He shaved it not that long ago. It was like last year. For charity,
like 6 months ago. Yeah.
It was like 6 months ago, and for charity, he was auctioning off like an acrylic cube with a single beard hair in it.
He's just like crazy smart, really funny, and like he's just a great guy. Yeah. And it's a wonderful YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of the people listening to this are like, yeah, Vsauce, we know.
But also, if you're listening to this and you don't know him, if you're listening to this, I can guarantee you will love this channel.
You will, yeah.
If you don't love the mathematical stuff, you'll love the philosophical stuff, or you'll love the goofiness.
Or you'll like 10 minutes into that video when it turns from math into philosophical universe stuff. And maybe you'll start understanding calculus after he invents it.
Yeah, maybe you'll understand. Maybe you'll like calculus. Maybe you'll go back to school and become a math
calculus
PhD.
Man.
Who knows?
A mathematician is the word I was looking for.
I couldn't think of it either.
I said calculus man. But he's so wonderful.
He's wonderful. And his recent videos, too. He was gone for a while. Everybody was joking that he forgot the password to his channel. He was posting a lot of videos on one of his second channels. Initially, the second channel was an old channel. He used to call it Dong. Stood for Things to Do Online Now, guys. And it was just, he would talk about, like, cool websites and, like, interesting things around the web.
Which is just a wonderful
Which is also a great rabbit hole, right?
Too. Yeah.
But then in recent years, he changed the name of the channel to Ding. I don't remember what the I stands for, but I think it was just kind of a branding thing to make it more family friendly. But he came back to his main channel after a couple years, basically, and he dropped some bangers.
Like immediate bangers.
These videos, I think one of the first ones he dropped, right, so he has like, I think maybe this was his calculus video. He had like a math video, and then out of nowhere, he dropped this 20-minute video called How Many Holes Does a Human Have? Which also sounds kinda goofy. But please, everybody, watch this video. It does start with him sitting on the toilet and then dropping a donut in the toilet, and I think, or maybe he takes a donut out of a toilet and then eats it out of the toilet. But then he goes on to discuss really in-depth biological definitions of what is a hole. He goes into topology, which there's some really interesting topological stuff that I've also thought was kind of cool. There's a joke that topologists say to each other. You know, someone goes to their friend. I don't know exactly how the joke goes, but he goes to his friend and he's like, "Hey, will you pass me that donut?" And the guy hands him a mug, and the guy says, "Thanks," and that's it. Because topologically, a mug is the same as a donut. And if that doesn't make sense to you, look it up, because I'm not going to explain it. But he goes into the topology of what is a hole, what's a through hole. Like, if I have a straw, is that one hole or is that two holes? It's got an entrance on one end and an exit on the other. But if I compress that, then it becomes one hole. So at what point does one hole become two holes? If I punch a hole in a wall, is that a hole? If I punch a hole through a wall, is that two holes? So it's fascinating stuff like that. And then that video also, I think, ends up pretty philosophical.
Because they always do.
Because they always do.
And then they get goofy in like the last second or some garbage. It's great.
But then the other three most recent videos are all 30 plus minutes long.
Yeah.
The first one was called Illusions of Time, which off the bat, you can tell that one is going to get crazy,
it's so
philosophical.
Good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
He talks about a subreddit that I found out about from him that I really love. It's called Barbara Walters for Scale. and basically it talks about like
I forgot about that subreddit.
Right? This whole subreddit is posts about like interesting like dates and relations of things in history that you would never think would be related in that way. Like, top post on this subreddit: Nintendo and the Ottoman Empire existed at the same time. What?
Yeah.
Picasso was alive when Sweet Caroline was released and hopefully jammed out to it at least once. It's like stuff like that.
Okay,
And then-
out of context, or, I mean, not related at all.
Yes.
Fuck Pablo Picasso. Keep talking.
Okay. I don't really know anything about that. Maybe we should wait till
Garbage
Rose
man.
comes back on.
Garbage man.
And we can talk about more
Rose
art world
will
drama.
listen to this podcast and she's going to text me and go, yeah.
I look forward to hearing about that text.
Yeah. I'll tell you about it in the
Thanks.
next episode.
So he goes through just all these really interesting things about time and the way that time moves forward, and it's, you know, crazy philosophical. The next video he drops after that, the future of reasoning. What? This whole video, 30-minute video, just about, like, I'm not even going to try to summarize it, because I can't even when I first watched it, I couldn't remember everything he talked about. It was so much about just the future and the way that the world that we live in is progressing, and the rate that it's progressing at, and the way that things are changing, and the way that knowledge and reasoning is changing with the world. And it's like, I don't even know, like, it seems so disconnected from the kind of, like, other videos he used to make, but at the same time, it's really not.
Yeah.
And then he made this 37-minute video called Do Chairs Exist? That was his most recent full-length video. I don't even remember. I know I've watched it. I do not remember what he talks about in this video.
No, because I was just... There's a lot of the times when I see a new Vsauce video and I just go, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I just fully accept it at this point, and I'm like, all right, this might as well be happening to me. And then it happens, and I go, okay. And then I immediately, all the information is out of my head.
Which is great, because it's immediately rewatchable.
Yes,
The rewatchability, everybody in the comments of all his videos, you know, for the years that he wasn't posting, was like, oh, he forgot his password, whatever. But half the comments were just about how it's incredible how rewatchable these videos are.
Yeah.
You don't even need new videos, because every one of these videos you can watch a million times and it's still just as fascinating every time.
Yeah. I'm still not smart enough to remember that information just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I can just keep rewatching it, and it's new content every time.
And the things that do stick make for incredible fun facts to just, like, throw into random conversations. Every time I see, like, if I'm outside, we used to call it the God light, but, like, when the clouds are kind of open a little bit and there's light pouring out from the clouds in, like, a big, you know, spotlight cone shape.
Yeah.
And he has this fun fact in one of his videos where he's like, you think that it looks like, you know, kind of like a spotlight, kind of like a cone starting at this little point and spreading out, but really, it's the clouds are way further away than they look, and it's really just a straight line that goes from up there to down here. It does not converge to that point. It's the same reason that if you look down train tracks, they look like they converge down at the end. They don't really. Yeah. It's just really far away.
It's just perspective, yeah.
Right. And it's just little things like that stick with me are always great.
Or how we learned Morse code our senior year of high school.
Or how, I do Morse code with Akiva all the time. One of his videos.
I do Morse code to myself.
Yeah, it's fun to just practice.
Because you're in Florida.
He has a video where he goes through this mnemonic for learning Morse code, where every letter, it's based on the stresses of the syllables.
Yeah.
So the letter A, you have to think of it as the word apart, which is dot dash, apart. And then you have B, you remember it with the phrase boot to the head.
Yep.
Dash dot dot dot, boot to the head. Stuff like that. That's how I remember Morse code.
Yep.
And it's just fun.
To L with it.
To L with it. Just how you remember
Get a haircut.
Get a haircut is F. I don't know why get a haircut is F. That's the only one that doesn't make sense. But I remember it.
We used to pass notes like in between classes. It wouldn't even be like in class. We had one class together, senior year of high school.
Shout out to Horger.
We love you, girl.
AP Lit class.
And then we would see each other for lunch, and like that was it, our senior year. And so like we would catch each other in between classes and we would just be passing a paper with Morse code on it back and forth. And it was like nothing of importance. If somebody were to take it and try to decode it, they would be like, this is the most boring thing ever. But it was fun because it was a Morse code.
Yeah.
Also, I do like on his YouTube channel, I am just looking at it, Illusions of Time, very cool video, immediately followed by ball magic, #shorts. Which is just, I think, sums it up pretty well. What a dude.
What a dude.
Love that guy.
So, okay. I think that's good enough on Vsauce. We went for quite a while. We both love him. And I wanted to talk about some specific videos I didn't get to. Maybe I will in another episode.
It's hard not to get caught up in how much he's just a good dude.
But I'll throw it over to you.
Thank you. So I'm talking about my favorite movie today.
Okay. Big one.
It's my favorite animated movie.
Okay.
It is tied with a live action movie for my favorite movie.
What's the live action movie?
So the live action movie is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I knew that. I didn't need to ask.
You did. I don't know why you needed to ask. I was going to say it. You just made yourself look like you don't know me.
Whoops. I'll edit that out.
Whoops. I don't care. But my favorite animated movie is How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. We were literally just talking about this. I don't know why I didn't immediately remember.
I don't know. I was like, you definitely have seen it, and you definitely do know what it is.
Correct.
Because it is just the best movie of all time. It's got everything. It's got a gangly little teenager as the lead man. It has a big burly dad who is unsure about how he's going to connect with his son. He has a missing wife. It has romance. It has a rivalry. It has fucking dragons in it. And the dragon that the whole movie is centered around is an all-black dragon that's rare, and there's only one of them. And everybody's terrified of them. It has everything. Okay, let's start at the beginning. So, in case you haven't seen this movie, what
are you doing?
What have you been doing for the past 12 years? That movie came out in 2010. 2010.
Really? Oh my God.
I was 9 years old. I went to go see it in theaters. Go watch it, but also I'm going to go through it beat through beat. So, there's going to be spoilers. This movie's 12 fucking years old, so I'm not too upset about it. But it's also just so I can talk about how much I love it. So we start, and everything's chaos. Everything's crazy. And there's fire everywhere. And then you see, this gangly little kid, and he's, running in through a door, and he, slams it behind him, I think. And it's like a record scratch. This is me.
You're probably wondering how I
got here. But it's fucking... What's his damn name? Yes, him. It's just him saying that. And we are in the village of Burke. It's a Viking village that's attacked by dragons frequently. And it's basically this huge war between humans and dragons. And all of the kids of the island that are teenagers, 14, 15, are tasked with learning how to fight dragons and protect the village as the next generation. So you have our main guy, Hiccup. You have...
Great name for a character.
It's just the best. You have Fish Legs, who's the shithead. Or no, Fish Legs is the good... He's a big man. Snot Loud is the shithead. You have the twins, Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
Yes, I know them.
Who are just the best. And then you have Astrid, who's
who everyone had a crush on when they were a kid.
Everyone had a crush on her. I had a crush on her, but But I also had a crush on Hiccup, though, which is just like me in a nutshell, you know? And they all bully him because Hiccup, even though he's the chief's son, is really scrawny and small and does not take after his dad at all. His dad has the coolest fucking name in history. His name is Stoic the Vast.
Nice.
Isn't that sick? It's good. So good. And you find out that his dad is actually just really worried that he's not going to be able to protect himself. He lost his wife to a dragon, and so he's really protective over Hiccup. And Hiccup is so small and gets into a lot of mischief because he's an inventor. So, you know how it is. Classic. And he sees one night after like all of this like commotion is happening, they see a night fury in the sky, apparently. And Hiccup has this big invention that is tasked of like taking down dragons. And he's like, it's going to revolutionize everything. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to save the day and everybody's going to love me. And he ends up hitting the night fury. But in doing so, he like causes a big commotion and all this stuff. And his dad gets mad at him, whatever. So he goes the next day to where he thinks this dragon is going to be. And he finds that he has torn off the back wing of this dragon's tail, and it is a night fury. It's like the only one they've ever seen in the day, and it's like this all black dragon, and he's so cool looking, and he's so cute. And one of my favorite facts about this movie is that they based Toothless's movements off of one of the animator's cats.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I'll get into it, but a lot of his movements they based off of one of the animator's cats. But however, Toothless obviously is very apprehensive about coming close to humans, especially after being so recently injured, until him and Hiccup start kind of forming a friendship, and he doesn't kill Hiccup. And it's really beautiful. There's this beautiful scene where Hiccup is drawing something in the dirt, and Toothless is like watching him do it, and then he grabs a branch and he is just making scribbles in the earth with this huge branch while this beautiful music plays in the background.
Can we talk about the music for a sec?
We will get into it. And he like at the end when he's all done with it, he just sits there and looks so proud of himself, of his artwork, and he like growls at Hiccup every time Hiccup steps on one of the lines, until Hiccup making his way over to Toothless by stepping over all of these lines. Toothless allows Hiccup to touch him for the first time, like right on his face, and then he runs away. But it's like a big breaking point of this domestication kind of coming into play. And because Hiccup becomes more familiar with how dragons are working, he starts getting better at his dragon fighting class, because he like knows all the tricks of getting them to listen to him, basically. He turns into the dog trainer of the dragon world. And this makes Astrid become really jealous and suspicious because suddenly she's not the best in the class anymore. And so because he's the best in his class now, he has to kill a dragon for his final exam. And everybody thinks this is like a huge turning point. They're like, oh my God, Hiccup, this like fuck up of a kid, is gonna be the one. He's going to actually be a chief that we like stoic and not like a wimp. And then the big day comes and he can't kill this dragon, obviously. He has like a whole relationship with dragons now. And he's like working with Toothless with flying. Like that scene I was talking about that they based the animation off of of the cat. He makes a prosthetic wing for Toothless.
Oh my God, right. I remember that.
Yes. And the scene where Toothless tries it on for the first time, the animators put a piece of tape on their cat's tail, and those movements inspired the movements that we see in that scene of him trying it on for the first time. And the two of them learn to fly together, and Hiccup has to be there for Toothless to fly. It's like this whole system of pulleys and stuff that makes it so that he can fly correctly. And it's a beautiful thing about like working in tandem, and this connection that you can have with an animal. And while Astrid is getting so jealous and all of this stuff, she catches him going off into the woods to go see Toothless, and she like freaks out. Like she's like, I'm gonna tell everyone about this. And he's like, no, please don't do that. That's the worst thing that could happen ever. And really, without giving her much choice, she is kind of kidnapped and he takes her on a flight. The music of this scene, I need everyone listening to this podcast right now to go on to Spotify. I need you to look up in the search and go How to Train Your Dragon.
We're not going to play it because we don't want to get sued.
But I need you to listen to it. It's the Romantic Flight, that track. It is beautiful, and the scene makes me cry every time. I have seen this movie I'm probably going to say over 200 times.
Jeez.
I've seen it so many times. When I was in middle school, I literally would just have it playing on a loop so I could fall asleep. And I would watch it at least once a day, like freshman year of high school. It's beautiful. I love it. And while they're on like this flight, Astrid is like, oh my God, like, maybe he's a little cute. And then gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he is elated. And then he's like new guy on the block. Like everybody is like hyped about Hiccup. Hiccup is hype about himself. And then the whole thing when he can't kill a dragon happens, and his dad is like super disappointed in him, and it's like, you could never be the chief, whatever, like you're the worst son ever. And he's
that's
like,
not
oh
my
God.
dream, Dad, that's your dream.
Yeah, exactly. It's a DreamWorks movie.
It's right there in the name.
It's right there in there. And then Toothless starts acting weird, and they're on a flight, and he like stops listening to Hiccup, and he takes him to like this huge den of like this massive dragon. Like you can barely conceive the whole size of this thing. Like you can't wrap your mind around how big it is. And like he is like, oh shit, this is why all the dragons have been so bad recently. And that's why they've been taking all of our sheep. It's because they've been giving it to this huge dragon. And like they're under like this spell. And Stoic finds this information out, and because they've been on a quest to like get rid of all the dragons, he goes off on this expedition, and they go and fire fucking cannons into this den.
With this absolute unit of a dragon.
This huge dragon. Huge dragon.
Magic spellcasting dragon.
Yes. Like fucking Lovecraftian horror dragon.
Why do I not remember that from this movie?
I don't know, because it's huge.
Does it have a name, this dragon?
The Red Death.
Looking it up.
It's called the Red Death, which is also metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Red Death Dragon is the first thing that comes up when I look up Red Death.
Oh.
It's huge.
It's a big guy.
Huge. Has like a bunch of eyes. Really cool design, generally also. And Astrid is like, no, dude, you got that dragon. You fixed him because you were a nice guy, not because you're a bitch. And Hiccup's like, yeah, I am a nice guy. I'm not a bitch. And then he goes after his dad because his dad took his dragon. And he teaches Astrid and Snot Loud and Fish Legs and Rough Nut and Tough Nut how to befriend dragons. And at the end of the day, they all basically, I can't remember if they subdue or kill the Red Death.
I don't remember.
They kill it. They kill it. And what happens is after they kill it, Toothless and Hiccup are falling, and it's like this huge explosion, and they're falling into this explosion. And Toothless wraps his wings around Hiccup as like a last like Hail Mary, basically. Aww. And then he wakes up in his bed, and you can kind of guess that some time has passed and Hiccup has been asleep for a little bit. And then he lifts up his blanket, and he's missing his left leg, which is the same side that Toothless...
That.
Yeah, that's the same side that Toothless's wing is gone on. So they need each other now. And Gobber, his dad's best friend, who's like one of the best characters in the whole fucking movie.
Gobber.
He's the blacksmith, and he also teaches the dragon fighting classes. And he also sings opera sometimes, and is kind of in love with Stoic, and it's kind of the best thing. But he has made him a new prosthetic leg that fits into the pulley system that he made for Toothless's wing, and he made Toothless a new wing so that they could go flying. Oh, and then Astrid kisses him at the end. Kisses Hiccup at the end. And Burke is now in peace with humans and dragons. And it is just a beautiful movie. Stoic accepts his son, and Astrid, he gets the girl, and it's not because when he goes through this whole transformation, it's because she realizes that she really likes what he's standing for, and that she would really like to own a dragon, and she does, and everybody gets a dragon.
Everybody gets a dragon.
Everybody gets a dragon.
They learn how to train their dragons.
And they learn how to train them. And the second movie is also beautiful. I'm not going to talk about it, but...
And there was a show.
Yes, the show is actually
I never watched the show.
The show is actually decent. It holds pretty good. It's obviously not as good as the movies, because they never are. But it actually is pretty good. There's some pretty good tension between the antagonists that they come up with. And I actually think he's in the second movie. I think it all ties in together, if I'm remembering correctly. But I also could be remembering that completely wrong. I have not seen the third movie because I heard one bad thing about it and I got scared.
I don't think I saw the third movie either.
It's I'm disappointed in it, if only for one reason, and it's because there is another Night Fury, but it's a Light Fury, and she's a girl.
Oh, right.
So she's white.
She's white. And
she's...
Does she have, eyelashes or something?
She probably has, fucking tits or something. I don't know. Let me look it up. Light Fury. Ugh, yeah, she has, softer features and, blue eyes.
You know how all girls have blue eyes?
You know how all girls... That's the first thing when I was like, I don't think I'm a girl. I don't have blue eyes. I should have known. I mean, you have brown eyes, right? You're not a girl.
That's true. That's all the proof you need.
That's all the proof you need, is that us two both have brown eyes and we're both not girls. But it's a beautiful movie. The production of it is great. The early production art, the concept art for it, is all beautiful. It's so sweet, and it's whimsical, but there's a lot of weirdly topical topics. That didn't make sense, but there's a lot of prevalent topics.
It's a really good coming of age story.
Yes, and it's just beautiful, and it's for all my sensitive little guys out there. For all my sensitive little guys that don't want to fight dragons, they want to befriend them, and they just want to make their silly little inventions.
That's me.
And have their dad's approval. Yeah, it is you. Oh my god. And there's also things about it being not the same as the book, which is could not be any more true.
I did not know it was based on a book.
There's many books. Go on YouTube right now. David Tennant is the one who does the audiobook.
Wow.
And it's phenomenal. It's very good. Not at all how the movie goes. Toothless in the books is do you know the small little dragons in the movies? The goofy ones that kind of look like crested geckos?
A bit.
He's that size. He's not
he's small.
Special dragon. He's supposed to mimic Hiccup in the way that he's kind of stupid, looking. He's just a scrawny little dragon that makes sense for a scrawny little boy. And he's always disobeying Hiccup and causing mischief. Yeah, he's just a little green dragon in the books.
But the books are serious children's books.
Yeah,
right?
they're kids' books.
They're kids' books.
They're Scottish kids' books, I believe. Yeah, and all of the books are framed Hiccup is the one writing them. It's very good. The books are great, but the movies are, at least the first two, are wonderful.
Yeah.
Genuinely one of the best animated movies ever, in my opinion. The second one, fun fact, I was so excited when we were going to see it in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters 4 times.
Wow.
Which, as somebody who has to fight me to get me to watch movies,
yes,
is a
do.
lot. I was so excited that I dropped my phone and it shattered the screen because my hands were shaking because I was so excited. And my mom was like, come on. I was like, I'm sorry, dragons. I'm so excited about the dragons. I get to see my favorite guy on the screen. Also, Hiccup has a glow up.
Oh yeah.
From the first movie to the second movie. I always had a crush on him.
Hiccup, they make him Hiccup's hot in the second one, right?
Yeah, he's hot, but he's not big and beefy. He's still like he's still slim. He's a slender guy. But apparently in the third one he has a beard. I'm not here for that.
The third one they make him like actually hot.
Yeah, and the second one he's just like, I'm older and I have longer hair now.
And he's not like scrawny.
No, he has like a broader chest. He's like, I think he's like 18 or 19 in the second one.
Right. He's
like an adult still coming into having to become chief. And they make him like, he's an adult, but he still has like boyish charm. But apparently in the third one, he's just a full-on adult.
Does he have a kid?
Does he have a kid?
I see a picture of him riding Toothless with a kid.
Don't tell me.
I think he might have a kid, and he's got a beard.
No. Don't tell me anything
he
about
might
the
have
third
two
movie.
kids.
No, he doesn't. Not yet. No. I need to come to terms with the fact that he has. I know that like that was it, they have to have kids. However, in my mind, they're still just like the 18 to 20-year-olds
right.
like playing their dragon games in the second movie, and she's like, oh my god, I love you, but can you please just like chill out for like 2 seconds? And he's like, no, I'm running away from my dad, lol. But yeah, so that's my topic for this week. Is my favorite movie of all time.
This is a good one. That's a really good one.
Sorry, I also rambled, but it's because it's my favorite movie.
That's also what this show kind of is, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
If people are listening, they know to expect rambles at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I am autistic. It's what I do. I can't help this. But yeah, so this was our show. This is Kick Butt Turbo Nerds. It's a show that might be about Michael Vsauce or might be about dragons.
And training them
and how to do it.
If you want to follow us on like social media and stuff, you can do that on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok
and Tumblr. I forgot to.
Do we have a Tumblr? Did you make a Tumblr?
We do have a Tumblr. I did make a Tumblr blog.
Wow.
That's where I live.
Yeah.
And it has a pretty cool theme. If you look it up, Kickbutt, I think it's kbtnpodcast.tumblr.com.
Everybody go check out the Tumblr if you want to know what the cool theme is.
Pretty neat.
Also, we have an email.
We do have an email, kbtnpodcast@gmail.com. And speaking about the email, I do need to just give a shout out to Neil's roommate and my dear friend Akiva, who a few episodes I asked for snake name requests or suggestions, yes. And since then I have actually adopted another snake and she's already named, but I'd really like to just read this for you guys. The email subject title is just snake name. And then he goes on to say, hello there, long-time listener, first-time caller. Loved the episode and would love to volunteer a snake name for a new hatchling. Amazing snake names.
And then what he has gone on to do now what he has gone on to do, Akiva, has looked up 50 good names like on google.com and then just copied and pasted them. And they do go from A to Z. There is no Z. It just goes on to Y. And Y is Yolanda. Name number 12 on this list.
Number 12.
I'm going to count that out.
12 is Delia, which is my sister's name. So
you got some good ones on here. I got to say, Inez.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Inez,
Loretta. Lorna. Odessa.
Myrtle is good. And then you've got...
We got Olga.
Sorry. You've just got Yolanda at the end.
Yolanda is the very one. It's the very one on the list.
It's the very one.
This is the very last one on the list. Merle is on there. Always a favorite.
Merle is on there. Always a good one. Thank you, The Adventure Zone, for that name.
Shout out The Adventure Zone.
Shout out The Adventure Zone for inventing the name Merle.
McElroy's, all of you, if you're listening, shout out to you. Have us on your podcast, please.
If you're listening, don't. Please stop. But yeah, that's our show.
That's our show. Thanks for listening.
I I don't know about Neil, but I hope you enjoyed this episode.
I do hope you enjoyed. Why would I not hope they enjoyed?
I didn't want to speak for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I thought this was a fun one.
With our listeners.
That's true. I hate all of you. Please don't ever enjoy listening to this show. Keep listening, but don't enjoy it.
Somebody clip that.
Don't clip that.
Somebody call him out on Twitter.
You know what? If someone's going to clip that and call me out, do it. That's good. Negative press is all press is good press.
That's what they say in the biz. Okay, we have to stop recording. This is 70 minutes.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
I love
Until next time, kick some nerd butts.
Turbo style.
Cue that outro music.